Hey everybody, great to have you back here in the fish tank. Happy holidays. Today we're going to look at the user interface in Minion Masters 2.0. So this should be useful for players new and old alike, since it's basically a new experience for everyone here. So judging from the feedback that I've seen on Steam, Discord, everywhere, the user interface is quite a talking point. Now, some people have liked it, some people have been okay with it, but a lot of people have hated it. So today we're going to go through it, show you all the different sections, let you know what I think, what do I like, what do I not like, where can things be improved or added to, and hopefully together we'll get a better understanding of this. Now, a lot of people have reacted quite violently almost to this change because, you know, a lot of us have played this game for a long time, many hours, hundreds, thousands of hours. So a new user interface is quite startling. Now, personally, from my point of view, because I've been involved in a lot of the testing, a lot of the betas, stuff like that, even all the way back to the original remastered Minion Masters on my phone, we were testing that many moons ago, that is kind of where the user interface design and style was born. So this is something that I've been familiar with for quite some time. So whilst a lot of you guys had kind of a bit of a shock where it was completely new, I struggle to sort of have that same reaction because I've seen it a lot. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm not going to have things to say about it. So let's jump in and see what we can learn. So we're going to go around the user interface in kind of a clockwise situation, starting from the top left, going all the way. So top left, you can see we've got our profile stuff. Top middle, we've got sort of our main menu bar. Top right, we've got all of our currencies as well as access to the settings. Then on the right, we've got our battle pass and our quests. And then at the bottom, we've got our actual deck that's currently selected. And of course, then in the middle, sort of down the bottom, we've got the options to change modes and to start a game. Now, a lot of people I've seen, they felt this was kind of busy, but I feel like it's just very similar to the old layout. A lot of the features that we had on the old version of Minion Masters are just here. So, you know, there's a lot of information that can be given. Of course, a lot of this information can ultimately be hidden behind menus, but that means you have more and more clicks to get to where you want to. Whilst people might think it's cluttered, I think it does give direct access to most of the important things. Okay, you don't want everything on the screen, but you also don't want a completely blank screen where you have to have 5 clicks to get to everything that you want to find. Okay, so top left here, we got our profile, we got our avatar, our profile level, shows our XP towards our next level. We've got our username, which of course, remember, is our Beta Dwarf username when you log into the game. I know there's been a lot of problems with that, and the devs are working on a solution to fix people's usernames. But this is our Beta Dwarf username that we select when we first load into 2.0. Then we've got our rank, and I think this is our top rank, and we'll read more about that in a moment. And then we've got our season pass progress. So if we click on here, we'll have a look what we've got. So this profile page is, I don't know, I feel like this is a bit of a step back from the old profile page, right? It just shows our total wins, cards owned, and combined glory. The combined glory really does need a bit of love there to be displayed in a nicer format. And then, of course, we've got our profile progression rewards, as we're probably familiar with. But this is kind of, like a whole screen that really shows you almost nothing. So I'd like to see more information in here for sure. And now one of the things we'll see, which is a little bit weird later, is if you go to the settings, that's where you find replays, which has led a lot of people to think the replays are not in this new game, because why would you look under settings? And previously, replays were under the profile page. So I would like to see the replays brought back to be on this page to make this sort of more usable. You can use the back button on your mouse now to go back. I saw someone complaining about that earlier because they had that mapped to their push to talk in their Discord, but you know, you can't please everyone. Right, so that's the profile. Then we'll click on our rank. So we've got our 3 ranks on the left-hand side: solo, team, which is randoms, and team pre-mates. And we have a different rank for each of those. Now, when it comes to the rewards are all consolidated into a single track. So your rewards here, your progress, is based on your highest rank overall. So it's kind of a little bit confusing, because if you look here, my top rank is 11 in pre-mades. And here, it kind of looks like we're on 10. I don't know. I feel like it's just not quite in the right place, or it doesn't quite make sense. But anyway, so this is based on your highest rank. So all the way up to Grandmaster rewards, you only have to get that in one mode. So a lot of people don't like playing all the game modes, where previously you were kind of forced to do that if you wanted to maximize your rewards. Now you don't need to do that. You can just do that in one game mode. Now, if you are... sorry, that goes all the way up to Contender, actually. And then you have the extra bonuses for double and triple Contender, which is going to be something that not too many people will get. I did get triple Contender in the last season, but it is quite the grind. And especially the last season was a long season, so that definitely made it easier. So hopefully that makes more sense with regards to the single track. Now, instead of having the... Previously, we would have... So if we start here at wood, we would have had wood 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stone 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. Now they've changed it to be just numerically 40 to start with as the lowest rank. And then the ranks just decrease by 1 all the way up to 1 or 0, whatever Grandmaster is. So basically 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, that's wood rank. You get to 35, then that's stone. You get to 30, bronze, 25, silver, etc. So some changes there with the way that works, but hopefully that makes sense. I don't hate the way it's been sort of moved into just one single track. I feel like I would like to see these rewards, these extra rewards for getting Grandmaster in multiple modes. Because getting multiple contenders, I feel like that's very far away from most people's ability, with regards to their ability as well as their the amount they can play, because that still factors into a lot of things. So I would like to see multiple rewards for Grandmaster, because I think it is quite comparatively easier to get 2 or 3 Grandmasters than multiple contenders, which was, I don't know, a handful of people will get those at most. Right. And then we've got our season pass. So everywhere you see this red dot, which is, I don't know, it's a bit egregious. I don't like it. It just feels like it's just slapped on there. I would like to see that improved. That just means like there's something new. Get your attention, go click on it, right? Right, so premium pass. So we got our rewards here in the battle pass. And remember, you can use, it's under my face here, but we've got the claim all button, which will claim everything all at once. So we've got the free track at the bottom, the premium pass at the top. Remember the rubies, the cost of rubies went, sorry, the cost of the battle pass in rubies went down to 1,050 instead of 1,250. But you now don't get any rubies from it. But the amount of rubies you got from it was less than the reduction in the cost. So kind of a net saving there. Now, a lot of the things you see me scrolling through here, a lot of the things you can scroll through with your mouse wheel, which I find quite user-friendly. These big dots at the bottom here, pretty ugly to indicate the pages. Could definitely be improved, or at least just made smaller. There's no need for them to be massive like that, and I think that's something you'll see sort of repeated as we go through. Right, so we go back to the main screen. We've got our main menu bar at the top. So play is, you know, that's kind of the home button. That brings you back to this screen here. And then that's when you can set up your game, set up your lobby, and dive into a game. So the next one up is cards. Now, there's a few things about this I like and some things that I don't like. We'll talk about what I do like first of all. The new card filters are great. There is a bug. For some reason, it defaults 1 to 2 glory. So we've seen some people think they've lost some cards because their glory's down there, but that'll be fixed. We've got a bunch of filters so we can select the different types of things. You can click on multiples. Same with factions if you're looking for just factions. And one thing to note, compared to the old version, this screen is so much more fluid, so much more responsive, and a huge improvement going forward. We can see the mana cost there. We've got our glory. And we got our rarities as well. So it looks like if you don't select any, they're all selected. And then if you select one, then it's just that. And then whatever ones that you add. So definitely some improvements there. There's, oh, sorry, I've come out of that. There's also the facility that you can still type in here if you're looking for a specific card. I'm not exactly sure what this search is, but you can, for example, you can search Frozen to find all things Frozen. Blood Pack to find all things Blood Pack. So the search is much better than it was before, as well as the filters as well. We've got crafting mode here. One thing I don't like about these little sort of switches is there's a way that you click on them that doesn't register the click. I think it's like if I click on the right here, which I don't know if that's normal. Would you expect to click there? I want to click there. You can't drag it either. You have to click on the left. So I would prefer this whole thing to be selectable. Just a small thing, but definitely can improve it. One thing you'll note is in the old version, when you came to your collection view like this, there were two views you could use. You had this view, or maybe, I'm not sure if the cards were smaller in the other one. How many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. There was 20 across the screen in the last one on the small view. But they also had the big view, which only had like 10 or 12 or something, which was really useful for newer players that were not familiar with the look of the cards, and it made it easier. Whereas now we've only got this version with the small cards. So I would like to see like just another little switch up here to switch between the different modes. Crafting mode. Crafting mode is slightly different with regards to the display than the last one. You can see I've clicked crafting mode and it's completely empty, and that's because I've got all of the cards. Previously in the old version, if you selected crafting mode, it would show you all of the cards that you both had and could craft, whereas now it only shows you cards you can craft. You could argue that's better or worse depending on how you prefer to use it. So some good changes there. Again, we've got the kind of the ugly sort of little dots at the bottom here. Not a huge fan of that. We've got our current deck selected at the bottom. Now, the decks on the left, this is a section that a lot of people are not happy with. Remember, we used to have pages. Now we've just got a massive scrollable list, which is... I haven't really used it much. As you can see, I don't have many decks loaded in here. But I've definitely had a lot of feedback that people are not happy with that. What I would like to see maybe is this section here to be potentially like your favorite decks, and then there's an extra, I don't know how you would access it, some button somewhere, then that's the actual deck building deck screen, and then you'd have sort of a layout like this, probably bigger icons, but then one for each deck, and then either like it used to before, showing the master, the name, and previously we had the most expensive card. Potentially you could also have a way to specify the card that you want to be displayed. So I would like to see that improved drastically, just to make it easier to find things. Also to have a search for the deck, so you can search like these filters. You can filter the decks by master, you can filter the decks by average cost. I don't know, just sort of spitballing here. You can also search for deck names. Stuff like that would be good, but is not something we currently have. But remember, this is a prologue at the moment, so it's really important to look at things. Let the devs know what you like, what you don't like, and especially if you have ideas, let the devs know. And if they think it's a great idea and they've got the ability to do it, then maybe those things will come into fruition. So, and then we've got our current deck at the bottom here. You just click or drag to get the stuff in there, and then you just click to get it out. Renaming the decks, you don't do it over here on the left, you do it down here. Just click on here and you can rename it. Whoops, thought I was going to come out of that, but came all the way out of it. And now one other thing to mention on this page is if you've just launched the game and you've got a lot of cards, you'll notice that you have the potential to promote all of the cards because they've basically been reset. But it retains your progress so far, and then you can promote the cards based on what you had previously. And that's been something that it takes a good while to do it. There's no claim all button for it, and it's a little bit frustrating to go through. But there's a few tips here that I can suggest to speed things up. Instead of claiming each tier separately, go to the highest tier that you have available, click on that, and then that'll claim all of the tiers. And then at that point, you can either click the chest to get all those rewards, or you can hit the back button, so you haven't claimed the rewards yet. Go to the next card, do the same, come back, and then sort of basically what that's doing is adding all the rewards to a reward queue that you'll then receive when you next open a chest. Now, from my experience, it's best to do maybe 10 or something at a time. Don't do too many, because I definitely crashed the game by doing that. Some people have complained that they missed rewards by doing that, but a few people have tested it, including the devs, and that's not the case. But yeah, your mileage may vary, but that can help you speed that along, especially if you've got a lot of cards. It does take a good while to get through that. Okay, so one last thing to mention with regards to the cards. Glory has changed, of course. So previously a card had up to 400 glory. Now it has either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 stars. Actually, I don't think you can get 4. I think it's 1, 2, 3 or 5 stars. So the maximum deck glory, instead of being 4,000, is just simply 50. Assuming wildcards don't count towards that. Right, so we can go back to the home screen and we can go to customization. So this is where you can change your master. Remember, you can also change your master in the deck building screen. You can change it here as well, which is kind of a little bit strange that you can do both. But this also gives you access to the master skins. And if you don't have them, then you can buy them here. I always find it a bit weird that buying the skins here makes sense, but not being able to buy them through the shop doesn't make sense. I would like to see both of those options available. And then the other thing, you can also get to the customization, by the way, by just clicking on your master in the middle. The other thing here is you can mouse over and it will tell you all of your perks and your basic attack, which is great for newer players. If you look at the different masters here, I'm not a fan of this icon, but this icon means it's a free-to-play master. Free weekly master. So there's 2 of those that you can play free, currently Mordor and Morelia, sorry. The other thing here is we have perks, and if you click on it, it says coming soon. That is, hasn't been fully fleshed out yet, but the idea is to have multiple master perks. And with regards, what I mean by that is instead of just having your 3 perks, you'll have 3 different perks for each of those perks, and you can choose those as the match progresses. So for example, King Puff has a trick swap as his perk 1, but there could be 2 other alternative perk 1, and hopefully you can set up sort of your default before the game, and then you can make adjustments based on how the match is playing out. You might want to switch to something. That's definitely going to be something for the more advanced players, but it will bring a lot more interest. I think it'll also open deck building as well for a lot of the masters, and that's something I'm looking forward to. And also, it's going to be a bit of a balance nightmare for the masters, because of course they've got to balance all of these new perks as well and make them usable. There's no point just having all these perks, but there's just a few of them that are just better than all the others. So that's something to look forward to. So on the left here, we've also got avatars, where you can choose your avatar. If you're looking to get my avatar or my emote, you need to subscribe to me on Twitch. And if you do so, let me know and I'll send you a code. Got a bunch of those out there. Right, so avatars, you easily just select those. Emotes. So the emote wheel to start with is empty. Now, previously in the game, you had access to all of your emotes on the left-hand side, and you also had your quick emote wheel. The big list has gone. A lot of us had problems with that because we had so many that it just went above the screen and you couldn't select any of them. So all you have now access to is the battle set. And this is, if you're in the game, you press Y and then you click and then it appears and then you drag to which one you want. And this is very simple. You just click which space you want. You click the emote you want. And then you just click the button to replace it. I would like to see the facility to click and drag, but that is not something that is currently enabled, but something that could be improved going forward. Right, and then the last thing we have are the arenas. I remember the way the arena works is when the match loads, somebody's arena is chosen. The higher rarity of your arena, the more chance you have of it getting chosen. And if you're using the streamer arena, then it is always that one. Right, so that's customization out of the way. Let's have a look at the shop. And we've got our little red thing here for the special offers. Again, we can go through it with the scroll wheel. Look at the special offers. Sometimes there's some free stuff in here. Sometimes there's free stuff in special offers. Sometimes there's free stuff in daily offers. We've got the timer for when it's going to restart. We've got some skins here. All sorts of stuff. Daily offers. I've been seeing a lot more things for gold, which is kind of cool. A lot of us have a lot of gold. So, for example, we've got a season pass tier here. I did hear something about them not counting correctly, but we won't discuss that today. We've got a bunch of stuff for gold if you're looking for that. Then we've got our power tokens. You buy one of them for gold. Basically, quick advice, rubies, spend them on the season pass mainly. Don't waste them on anything else. Rubies, so this is purchasing rubies for cash. And then we've got the redeem codes. This is normally if you get a code from a streamer. One thing to note, is this kind of been a stealth buff, is that Twitch drops are back. The Tri-Team Tourney is gone, so you just get gold from the drop, but Twitch drops are back. They didn't really say anything about that, but we've noticed it happening. And it appears that Twitch drops are back. So that means if you watch the streamer on Twitch, as long as you've got your game linked up to it, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute, you'll get the rewards in the game when you next open it. Right, tower is the power tower. Got a bit of lag here. I've definitely heard of people saying that sometimes when you click on something, it doesn't work, and then you click somewhere else and something back. So that's just a usability thing that the devs will be aware of. So we got the claim all button here. Let's try it. We've got 19 power tokens. Shouldn't take too long. You can see the 19 at the top's disappeared. If you've got a big amount, you can see that slowly going down. But this should open them all in bulk, which is a feature that everyone's been asking for a long, long time. I just get shards because I already have all the cards maxed out. You should get a bunch of different cards and stuff depending on your progress. Right, so that's the power tower. Season pass. We've kind of covered the season pass. How did we get to the season pass before? Was it under... Oh yeah, we went to the season pass here. So that's exactly the same thing. And again, we've got some rewards. Hit claim all, boom. Nice and fast. Right, next up are the quests, daily quests and achievements. Remember, you can replace a quest with this icon here on the right if you don't like it. You can replace one quest a day, and you can see when they're going to refresh. Looks like they're on UTC time. And then you've got achievements. Now, there's a lot of new achievements, but they're not Steam achievements, so they just seem to be in-game achievements. And I guess that's because we're talking about Steam, Xbox, and eventually mobile. So rather than having achievements on all of those separate platforms, it's just in-game. Whether you like that or not, I don't know. That's just how it is. Right, next up we have the leaderboards. Last time I checked this, it did take a good while to load. Again, I'm sure that's something that devs are working on. But whilst we're waiting for it to load, if we look at the left, so we've got solo, team, which is randoms, pre-mades, mayhem, and draft. Draft is the latest leaderboard to be added. The mayhem and draft leaderboards kind of suck because they're not sort of like average draft results over a whole season or anything. It's just based on one run, who did the best run, who did it latest, and pretty much just that. Right, so here we have the leaderboards for solos. One weird thing is that the decks are not ordered by mana cost. Again, I'm sure that'll be fixed soon, but currently not. And again, we've got these kind of ugly buttons down the side. Once it's loaded, pretty quick. I don't know if we're going to have another long load. I feel like once it's loaded, it's not too bad, but definitely some improvements that can be made to that page just from how quickly things can be accessed. And then we've got the past and current seasons at the top. Let's not spend too long on this page, but if you want to look at them, they're available there for you. Right. Now, the last thing along the top is social. So we got our friends list. Big add a friend button. So remember, so you see people with two names. That means I think that the top name is their beta dwarf name, and the second name is their platform name, so Steam or Xbox. If they've only got one name, I think that means they haven't created a beta dwarf name. So you can add a friend with their beta dwarf name. Guilds. Guilds are kind of irrelevant at the moment. Remember, guild conquest was removed, so there's no real reason for guilds apart from just the social aspect. I'm sure something will come eventually to replace conquest, and it will hopefully be better than conquest, because a lot of us really didn't like conquest. I know some of you did, but ultimately I think it was a flawed system, especially at the top ranks. So that should be coming back, and you can have a look at the guilds, search the guilds, all that kind of stuff there. Right. We've got our gold, shards, and rubies at the top right, and then we go to the settings. So we got our profile. We've got our options with regards to audio and graphic settings. Language, bunch of languages available. See, as mentioned before, this is where the replays are. The replays are here, which is kind of weird under settings, right? Put it under profile. There's a few things that could be improved about this. For some, like, they're massive on the screen, which isn't like the worst thing in the world. It doesn't show who won, which is kind of a bit weird. But apart from that, I don't hate it. They load individually. You can see them loading one at a time rather than having a huge long hang and then them loading. So that's kind of nice. Everything's responsive while that's loading, which was definitely an improvement over before. Bug report, always useful. Historically, the bug report system for Minion Masters in-game has always been kind of broken, and currently it's not broken, but it's non-functional from what I last heard, because so many bugs have been reported. The whole system is just glued up with all of these bugs. But no reason to not try to report bugs if you're doing so, and of course join the Discord to have the discussion there. Social platforms, these are links to find the Minion Masters on different social platforms. Streaming support. Okay, so this is where you need to link your game to Twitch to get your Twitch drops, as you can see here. So this is for everyone who is going to be using Twitch. For streamers, it means that you can get the streamer arena with the puffs and stuff, and for viewers, it enables the Twitch drops. Now we have the streamer battle UI, which changes the user interface a little bit in-game. Not much like it used to, but if you missed my latest video, I'll put a link up here somewhere for it. A lot of people were unhappy with the new in-game UI because they basically moved everything from the bottom to the top. The devs have heard that. They've come up with a proposed solution. Check it out. Let me know what you think. But basically, it's just moving everything back down to the bottom. Okay, we've got a bunch here about the stream stuff. Then we have some granular graphic settings. So depending on the power of your hardware, you can change these. If you're having some issues, you can change them. I would make sure you limit your FPS in some way. You can't see it here, but I've got my frame rate limit set to unlimited, but I've got my VSync on, so that means that the game is limited to the refresh rate of my monitor, which is 144 Hertz. Right, privileges. Enable cross-platform multiplayer, so apparently you can turn that off. Communication, so you can remove, they can just lock that down a little bit. This screen just looks way too big. One of the things I don't like about the user interface, lots of it, is things like this just look like mobile screens on a PC, right? Stuff doesn't have to be massive. Right, gameplay, we've got a few gameplay settings. So you can enable or disable the AFK bot, enable or disable screen shake, or enable and disable the double click to play cards. We've also got a big quit button down the bottom right if you want to get that F out of dodge. Right, so again, we've got on the right hand side here the battle pass. So I don't know if it's redundant or not, but we've basically got 3 ways to get to the battle pass. I don't hate it. It doesn't feel unnecessary. Each of them makes sense. And this shows you your current progress. What we do have here is we've got the progress for the season pass at the top left here. We've got the progress on the right hand side here, both showing the same thing. Again, seems a little redundant. We've got our quests here, and we've got our cards down at the bottom. And you can just click on this at the bottom. It will take you back to the card screen. Again, 2 different ways to get to it, but both of them make sense. And then the last thing is actually starting a game, getting in and cracking on. So this button on the left here is the mode select button. Now, one thing I hate is if we just listen to it. When you open that, it gives you the sound effect that we are used to from thousands and thousands of games, which is the sound effect when your queue pops and your match starts. Whereas now, it's when you open the menu. That I hate. Right, so we got adventures, solo and team, that's the PvE. We've got solo, so that's ranked, solo versus a friend, or solo practice against a bot. Team, so we got ranked, which is randoms, pre-made ranked versus friends, so that's 2v2 versus each other, or team practice. We've got draft, and we've got mayhem. Mayhem is currently disabled. It says unlocks level, it should say unlocks at level 19, but it's currently disabled because there's too many bugs for mayhem. Not too many people play mayhem. I know some of you really like it. I know you want pre-mades to come back, or solos, or whatever. Maybe in the future, if we get more people involved in it. And I've seen some people have some issues with regards to setting up lobbies, so let me just show you how you do it. So, for example, if we want to do pre-mades, so we've selected the mode. This, I don't feel like the workflow is quite correct here. Like, I don't know why this brings us back to the lobby, right? We've selected pre-mades, brings us back here. Then we need to click on this button to open up the lobby. It just seems to be way too many clicks to be unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. Right, so we've got our lobby here. This is me. My current pre-made partner is not populated because we haven't added anyone. If you're playing a 2v2 against friends, then you'll be able to add people here. I don't know if you can reorder them or not. Maybe you just have to add people in. The friends list can definitely be improved. Currently, there's no way to search it. It's also apparently not in any sort of order as well. And I've got like 500 people on my friends list or something stupid. So yeah, good luck with that. So that could definitely be improved as well. So once you're both there, you can ready up and boom, you're done. Hopefully that makes sense. Right. I know I waffled a little bit, but there's quite a lot to go through. So overall, I don't hate the user interface. There's a lot of things that feel a little bit too big, a little bit too mobile-y, and that's something that I'm sure the devs can work on. It makes sense to have a familiar interface on different platforms, but it also makes sense to tailor the interface to the specific platforms as well, right? There's some things that work perfectly on mobile, but then on PC, they just look way too big and inefficient, right? Like, for example, the news page, which actually I don't know how you get to the news page once you've skipped past it. I don't actually know how to get back to that. But that's something that actually I'm going to ask the devs and find out very shortly. If you know how to get back to the news page, be sure to let me know. But yeah, the news page has those big sort of 4 things across the screen. Unnecessarily large. I would like to see that shrunk down. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the new user interface. For me, the most important part is the gameplay, the interface within the gameplay. Everything else around it is kind of... It's not irrelevant, but as long as it's functional, I'm happy with it. I see a lot of people complaining they find the new interface hard to navigate. I don't really understand that. It seems pretty simple to me. The lobby stuff is a little bit unnecessarily complicated, but apart from that, everything seems okay. Anyway, as always, let me know in the comments, what do you think of the new UI? This is really dividing people, and we are in a prologue, an early access, a beta, so it's really crucial at this point to give your feedback and let devs know. Of course, commenting on my video is appreciated, but it's not the most official way of feeding back. Of course, I will read them all and pass them on to the devs where appropriate, but make sure you join the Minion Masters Discord, where you can interact with the developers in real time. And I think that's all I wanted to cover. If you're new to the stream, or sorry, the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you want to keep up to date with all things Minion Masters related, there's a lot of moving parts at the moment, a lot of stuff going on. We've got hotfixes coming soon, hopefully, to address some of the issues. The 2.0 launch has definitely been rough, but together, the community, the devs, I think we can rally together, we can get through it. But I appreciate everyone giving their feedback. I'm sure the devs do too. That makes it super good for them. The community has been able to provide so much feedback, so many bug reports, so many crash reports, and although that's kind of awkward because, you know, we don't want the game to be in a bad state, giving it to the community, that kind of sort of sheer amount of testing the devs just wouldn't be able to do in-house. So, you know, it kind of sucks that we have to do it as an end user, but if you're a lover of Minion Masters, hopefully you'll appreciate being part of it. And as long as the game breaking bugs get fixed, we can get everyone into the game. I know Xbox is still a nightmare. Don't worry, they're working on it. We're going to get everyone in the game. We're going to get the graphics fixed. It's going to be great eventually. You know, it's going to be better than 1.0 eventually. Sounds like a little bit of copium, but I do truly believe. And hopefully we can get through that together. Anyway, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. My name's Bad as a Fish. And as always, I'm awkwardly waving.